Hi everyone, edisonvasquez.com. I hope everyone is doing well. Today we are discussing frequently asked questions from industrial tenants. Finding and leasing a warehouse space sometimes can be a challenging endeavor, and there are many terms that our tenants are not familiar with. On our office, our team, we help tenants navigate through the process of finding and leasing a warehouse space here in South Florida. Throughout the years, we have gathered information on what are the most frequently questions that tenants have. And here are some of the top questions that we get from tenants when we are working in finding space to lease. Number one, I'm talking to the landlord broker already. Why do I need you to represent me? Well, the landlord broker works for the landlord. They will look what's best for the landlord. As a tenant broker, we will look what's the best terms for you as a tenant. So it's important to have a broker represent you, looking after you, negotiating for you, and getting you the best terms. Secondly, time. A qualified broker tenant will save you time on looking at options and scrolling through different dozens of spaces. The qualified broker tenant will summarize and give you the best spaces that will match your criteria and save you time of looking at unnecessary spaces that don't match your criteria. Additionally, a qualified broker tenant has knowledge in the market, understands the market, and can look at all the options in the market that are available, sometimes off market where there are properties that are not even on the market, and the qualified broker tenant can bring you those options that may fit your criteria best. For more details on this, you can check out our podcast. We did our podcast on why tenants need a broker to represent. You can look this on our website, warehousesmarket.com, and on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Number two question, can I negotiate multiple spaces at the same time? Yes, highly encouraged to do that, especially if you're looking for a simple warehouse space with 200,000 square feet, a big box, a space for the business where it's just racking and office. Highly encouraged that you look and negotiate in multiple spaces, because that will give you leverage, that will give you certainty that you're getting the best deal. And again, the qualified broker tenant will give you the best options and negotiate the best terms and get to know the best landlord that can serve you over time. Remember, you're signing a lease for not only 1 or 2 years. Most of industrial leases are 3, 5, 7, 10, and even 20 years. So it's important to get familiar with the landlords and where you're going to be locating your business. Question number 3, can we negotiate free rent for the landlord? For the most cases, yes. Most landlords, especially industrial and institutional landlords that have multiple portfolios, multiple parks, will offer some free rent to accommodate new tenants moving into the space, and even existing tenants that are renewing the lease. It all depends on the terms and the landlord. One thing to note is the longer the lease, the longer you're renewing the lease or signing a new lease, the more likely you are to get free rent or more free rent. It can be 1 month to up to 4 or 5 months depending on the term of the lease. And sometimes landlord get creative and gives you 2 half free rent months instead of giving you 1 month, which expands and gives the landlord cash flow at the same time, and it gives you 1 month free rent. So there are different ways that they can create, but yes, more importantly, most landlords will give you some free rent to accommodate you while you're moving into the space. Question number 4. How long before my lease expires should I look for a new space, or should I look to renew my lease? It depends on the business, but we highly recommend to start the conversation, at least to start the process, 18 to 24 months before your lease expires. The reason being is that you have time. Time is in your favor. You have leverage when you have time. So you're not rushed or pressured to sign, renew, or to look for another space, especially if you have a larger space or specialized equipment or a special business where it's going to take months to build the space. And even if it's a brand new space, it might take the landlord 5-6 months to build the space depending on your needs. So to build up a demising wall, build that office space, or put new equipment like refrigeration or machinery, it might take 5-6 months for that process. So it's important to start that ahead of time. We get many tenants who have 2 months left on the lease and they want to find a space right away and they want to go negotiate the best terms, and unfortunately that creates more pressure on the tenant to find the right space, and sometimes the tenant doesn't get the best term because they're rushed into signing a lease on a space that they might not like, and with the terms that they might not want because they didn't allow themselves enough time. So remember, tenants, time is in your favor. So the longer you have, the more leverage you have to negotiate the best terms with the landlord. So these are the most questions that we get. There's dozens of other questions that we get from tenants daily and weekly, but these are the most that we think will help tenants enjoy or make the process of leasing a warehouse space less stressful. So keep tuning in, keep following us. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us anytime. You can visit our website, warehousesmarket.com. You can call us anytime, 786-433-2380 for questions, and one of our team members will be happy to help you on leasing the warehouse space here in South Florida and throughout the country. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Be safe.